Welcome to aTech for another new video. Today we're going to talk about hydrogen cars and their impact on the climate. Could water be the energy source of tomorrow? It can also be used to produce this popular energy known as hydrogen, a gas that is totally neutral for the climate, but its development still requires research and is expensive. That's why billions are being spent on research. The idea is to produce fuel using only light and water and emit no greenhouse gases. Will hydrogen save the climate, or is this just another environmental fad? The ambition of hydrogen cars is to revolutionize transportation. After the rapid expansion of electric vehicles, there's this one other technology that affects the ability of cars to travel in the upcoming decades: hydrogen as fuel. Hydrogen-powered vehicles can be a useful addition, especially for saving fuel over long distances. That's thanks to a hydrogen tank that can travel up to 1,000 kilometers without being refueled. However, the challenges remain to energize the future vehicle transportation ecosystem. Based on this technology versus the 100% electric model, is a fuel cell a better option? Is the use of hydrogen vehicles feasible? How do fuel cell vehicles work? Hydrogen fuel cell vehicles use hydrogen to power electric motors, unlike traditional cars that use gasoline or diesel. Fuel cell vehicles combine hydrogen and oxygen to generate electricity for the engine. Since these vehicles run entirely on electricity, they're considered electric. But unlike electric cars of this type, other range and combustion processes are comparable to those of a traditional car and truck. The process of converting hydrogen to electricity produces only one residue: water. This means that fuel cell vehicles do not generate pollution, except for the pollution for hydrogen, which is polluting, due to the greenhouse gas emissions. Even if the fuel comes from natural gases, which is one of the driest hydrogens, it is possible to reduce polluting emissions by more than 30% compared to using diesel as fuel. One of the most important elements of a hydrogen vehicle is the fuel cell. Composed of electrodes that use hydrogen and oxygen to generate electricity, it drives the electric motor. To manage the flow of electrical energy supplied to the fuel cell and control both speed and capacity of the traction motor, an electric power controller is included. Thus, a gearbox is used to transfer mechanical energy to both the electric traction motor and the fuel cell. There is an auxiliary or backup battery for electric energy consumption, such as starting the vehicle before the fuel cell is activated. A converter can be used to convert the high voltage energy produced by the fuel cell into low voltage energy, thus recharging the battery with energy from the fuel cell. A cooling system remains the proper temperature for the fuel cell and the car motor and electronics. The result of all these mechanics is the almost silent traction but the significant acceleration to the charge of the vehicle. Filling the hydrogen tank of a fuel cell vehicle is compared to the filling of the gas tank of a traditional car. Pressurized hydrogen would be presented with the hydrogen refueling stations. These refueling points are rather rare at the moment, which is the point to modernize and allow the expansion of this technology. The refueling would take less than 10 minutes, as is the case with the standard vehicle. We can see a few practical examples of the use of hydrogen in traction engines. The first is its tactical use for submarines. Indeed, thanks to its technology, they are quieter and give off less heat, making them almost undetectable. This represents a real operational advantage for the armies. The second case is hydrogen trains, which have been tested in Germany. Note that the luxury car market is interested in the hydrogen. The Hopium Mechana version model from the French startup of the same name is elegant and clean. A company in England is looking into this application for the world of flight. At the moment, this technology has only been proven on small aircraft. On the other hand, Japan is committing to becoming a hydrogen society, thus ensuring energy security, improving air quality, and minimizing environmental impact. The goal is to reduce all greenhouse gas emissions by 80% by 2030. Toyota believes that due to the popularity of hydrogen, its long-term use is possible. Indeed, the Japanese giant believes that this adoption should accelerate rapidly. Nevertheless, the question of green hydrogen persists. It should be noted that green hydrogen is not yet produced in large quantities. It is simply too expensive to produce without large economics of scale. Hydrogen rarely exists in its free state. Some facilities produce hydrogen through electrolysis, a process that separates hydrogen molecules from water. The energy needed to perform this process can come from solar panels, a wind turbine, or a local power grid. But most hydrogen is produced in large structures that use oil industry. The hydrogen is then transported to the gas station and stored in large tanks. To use hydrogen as a fuel in electric vehicles, it must first be compressed and then cooled to prevent it from expanding when pumped into the vehicle. In terms of safety, hydrogen vehicles are just as safe as the traditional electric cars. A traditional gasoline tank contains 4 times more energy and explosive potential than a hydrogen tank. Hydrogen is stored in a liquid state in thick-walled tanks located under the cargo area behind the rear seat. Before being installed, the tank has already been designed to resist damage and has passed crash tests. This includes safety mechanisms to prevent leaks and explosions. The production, compression, and distribution of hydrogen consumption energy, but this problem can be solved by using excess renewable energy. Although hydrogen is also a byproduct of the same pollutant industries, technologies and systems exist to ensure that this pollution is clean. Hydrogen production through seam reforming is one of the most widely used methods in the hydrocarbon industry. This method produces hydrogen and carbon monoxide by reacting to hydrocarbons with water. Natural gas is the raw material. The reaction is highly endothermic and capable of generating most of the world's hydrogen. Hydrogen is used in the industrial synthesis of ammonia and other chemicals. But from the ecological point of view, this is not the right method because of the pollution linked to this product. Hydrogen is the most efficient energy carrier if it is possible to obtain high purity and environmentally friendly hydrogen. Through the electrolysis of water, this energy is sustainable and has almost no impact on the environment. Thus, water electrolysis is considered the most promising technology to produce pure hydrogen from renewable energy. This is because it emits only oxygen as a byproduct and no carbon emissions. However, the electricity of hydrogen production by water electrolysis is too low to be economically competitive. As a result of the growing demand, research has been undertaken to develop alternative low-cost, high-efficiency electrolysis. They could thus allow energy savings with water electrolysis. Hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicles are an alternative to the rechargeable battery electric vehicles. For good reason, there are greater range and a faster charge time. It is estimated that hydrogen energy will power approximately 1.5 million vehicles by 2030. The infrastructure, supply, and technology for hydrogen vehicles are still several years behind electric vehicles. Is hydrogen really green? Most of hydrogen used is extracted from fossil fuels. But if the energy used to separate water into hydrogen and oxygen comes from renewable energy sources, the hydrogen produced leaves no carbon footprint. So, it can be produced from fossil fuels provided the carbon emissions produced are captured. This is a measure that some governments will be considering in order to invest in this technology. Hydrogen refueling stations in more cars will also be needed in the future. It is difficult to promote the popularity of hydrogen with the high cost of fuel cell vehicles. That's it. We're coming to the end of our video. If you enjoyed it, leave us a little like and share the video with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and enable notifications so you don't miss our next videos. And we'll see you soon on aTech.